Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And this is JTB.
And this is another NG Talk featuring MondoBondo. And Mondo, on our last NG Talk, JTB and I had said, hey, if anybody wants to participate in one of these, just let us know. Well, MondoBondo stepped up to the plate, and now I present him to everybody. Mondo, why don't you tell us what we're going to do, or what you're going to do, and what we're going to be seeing?
All right, well, it's an honor to be here. Today we'll be looking at Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, one of the probably least popular entries, but this is a bit modified. I'm running a script to increase the enemy spawns and modify them as well.
So obviously PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another script to change the textures so the purple mist kind of resembles a red mist as Ninja Gaiden 2. And then another application as a trainer because you die incredibly quick in Sigma 2, just to kind of give me infinite talismans so I can actually make it through this.
Well, this is hard enough as it is, but yeah, there's a lot more enemies right now. And look at some of the damage you just took.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The person doing this mod just released like a damage modification for the enemies so they don't hit anywhere near as hard as they usually do. Unfortunately, that footage, the sound wasn't working for whatever reason. I'm pretty new to PC gaming, but it's just amazing the possibilities you can do on a computer.
Who did the modding?
Fiend Busa.
Oh yeah, we know him.
Oh yeah, we know Fiend Busa.
Yeah, it's incredible what he's been doing. I feel like he does not get enough credit because it plays like an entirely different version.
Yeah. I mean, on Sigma 2, I can't remember how many enemies there are here, but I think you get
nowhere
6.
Near this many.
Yeah, I think you get 6 on like original NG2, and Sigma 2, for the most part, you generally get less enemies. So it's going to be even less than 6. But like this reminds me of if anyone's played like DMC or Resident Evil, the legendary Dark Knight mode from that.
Look at that!
Where you just have tons of enemies. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. That's just surprising, especially that mage tracking you.
You would not believe how annoying this game is on Master Ninja. Like it's a breeze up until you get to Master Ninja because there are so many things that will just one hit you. The Golden Vangelfs in particular are like incredibly dangerous because any attack they do will just instantly kill you, and like I feel like the attacks in here are very percentage based, and like not until like damn near the end of the game like you can survive a grab, like after using like all the lives of 1,000 gods, most of the life of the gods. It's like a grab will still do like 95 to 98% of your health even at like max.
Yeah, I think a lot of the grabs are just one shots. So yeah.
Is that just with the damage buff on, or what you're doing here, or is that the regular game?
That's the regular game.
Oh wow!
You have to play Sigma 2 like very precisely. If you make one mistake, you just get killed right on the spot. It's just so strange because it plays like NG2, but you have to play it entirely differently. You have to really play like incredibly carefully, and it's just like it's almost not fun because of how you have to like exploit the game to even make it through, because one mistake and you're just dead.
Now, what's your history with... Oh, and I do want to let the audience know that there will be some talking over, because all this is new to JTB and I. So, we both kind of have our questions, and so if there's a couple of talkovers, just bear with us, and we'll, let the others talk, and maybe I can, maybe do something in editing.
This really makes me want to get the PC version, because I've been meaning to get it for a while, but like, this looks like a lot of fun. Like between this and New Game Plus in Sigma 1, there's a lot of fun to be had here.
So do you think with the infinite rebirths, is that changing how you're approaching it, or are you still trying to? I'm
trying, but it is a lot to. this was pretty much my first attempt at it, really, this recording.
Wow,
so I'm trying, but it is like there's no way.
I just love when you every time you walk into an arena, there's just like 24 guys immediately just drop down.
Yeah,
It looks so
everything
good.
is a staircase fight.
Yeah.
Now, what's your history? We'll get back to this, Baron, but what's your history with the Ninja Gaiden series? What did you start out with?
So I feel like I have a very unique introduction to the series. A little bit embarrassing, but you guys have probably seen Daryl Live Extreme Beach Volleyball.
No, I haven't. No.
I have, yeah. I know what you're
Yeah.
yeah.
There's actually a in-game VHS tape for that shows like NG04 like footage, and that's how I like got introduced. I was like, this looks absolutely amazing. I need to like figure out how to play this immediately. Yeah, I don't think I've heard anyone else get introduced in that regard. But yeah, I've played Ninja Gaiden 1 like probably between all the versions, I would say 25 or 30 times through. Like,
Oh, so you're an
I feel like-
amateur. Compared to no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, so I was gonna like you've played the. So what's your favorite between the original, like between like 04 Black and Sigma? Like which one's kind of your preferred one to play?
That's a hard one. I definitely lean more towards Black, but I do appreciate some of the additions to Sigma, but I feel like some of them just really kind of take away from the game, and I don't know.
Look at that
There's-
damage. Wow.
Damage.
Yeah. Yeah, those mages are absolutely brutal in this game.
So how old were you when you started playing like Ninja Gaiden? Did you start with 04? You know, the
Yeah.
original one at first?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that was, what, 17 years ago now?
So yeah, 17 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was 12. I was,
Oh God.
yeah, I'm 29 right now.
Well, you're still a youngster compared, you know. I was 38 when I started, you know, JTB. How old were you when you started again?
16.
Oh, okay.
I would have been 16. Yeah.
That's cool with all the different all the different weapon choices, and they're all upgraded to level, the highest level.
Yeah, they all
right?
look maxed, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a chapter challenge in Sigma 2, which is one of the good additions for it, and that like lets you run through the game with max weapons, but you start with like no items, so it definitely makes like the later chapters a bit more difficult because you don't have any items to fall back on. But it doesn't really matter because any grab will just instantly kill you. So
Yeah.
Do you have the different Nimpos as well, and you're just choosing?
Yeah.
What is that? The Void versus the Wind
Yeah.
Blades.
yep, Windblades definitely comes in handy for this mod.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Is Windblade still like an instant kill at level 3 on like delimbed enemies?
Not in the unmodified version.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and you guys probably noticed the cut there, but I was like messing with the trainer settings, and like you can adjust the speed, and I was just kind of highlighting how I guess I wasn't really adjusting the frame rate, but these games are very dependent on like the frame rate for like how crazy things get, and I honestly feel like playing OG Ninja Gaiden 2 is more difficult on the newer consoles because there aren't those frame rate drops when all those explosions and all this madness is going on. I definitely found it like more difficult in my playthrough on the Series X.
That's interesting because usually the frame drops are like the worst thing in that game because like that's what causes your inputs to get missed. So you know if you get like a frame rate drop and you try and dash, like just nothing happens and you'll just get hit, you know, by something.
I feel like that's less likely in OG2. It happened a lot in Razor's Edge when I was playing it on the 360, and thankfully a lot of those issues are nullified in the backwards compatible Master Collection. But
Yeah, neither one of us have played Razor's Edge.
Yeah, I played that.
NG3 was enough.
yeah, oh my god, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed in my life with vanilla NG3. Like that almost killed gaming for me, honestly. It was
Kill the Ninja Gaiden series.
I can relate to that though, man. But yeah, that's the because it's funny. I still get asked that a lot. You know, why haven't you played Razor's Edge? It's like because it still has Ninja Gaiden 3 at the front of it.
Yeah.
Like that's why.
It's amazing how much they changed, like in between versions. Like I can't believe they did that in 9 months because they made it like it still has the foundation of vanilla, but it plays like 10 times better. But it's still, you can still see those garbage little pieces shining through, but it's...
Well, from what I've heard from everybody, they agree with what you just said, that Razor's Edge is a lot better than NG3. Now, the bar's so low on NG3 that a lot better may not mean much.
Yeah.
But still, it's eventually I think I'll get to it and I'll play it, as I go through the Master Collection. So the trainer stuff, how do you load all that in?
So that's an application you download, and so you boot up the application, and then you basically direct the application to the game itself, and then it syncs up, and then you can adjust, like, you can basically just make yourself a god. Like, you can't get hit, you can't get damaged, you have infinite items.
So you play like JTB or Godfather Dictator, yeah.
yeah, do a no-hit run.
Yeah. So just real quick, when you say like no hit, so like can you basically just turn off like reuse hit detection, so like he just never gets hit still? Oh, okay. Man, that seems like that could be a lot of fun actually. Just to mess around with that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
After playing Sigma 2 and not really enjoying it, like I just love that I can like have fun with it because it's so divisive. Like it's fun on Mentor, you can just relax and just go for it, but yeah, any Master Ninja is just a nightmare.
So I told you it goes by pretty fast, doesn't it? So one of the other aspects that Mondo likes to do is he likes to catch like some bloopers and some stuff that maybe shouldn't be there in the game, or the game doing something it shouldn't do, or you getting punished for something dumb that you're doing. And so these next few clips are going to be some bloopers that he was able to get. And I think this one right here is going to really show how frustrating this game could be. Because look at the Cologne's health. And then it's like, okay, I got my fire wheels, and they're juggling, and, this is going to be easy. There they are getting juggled again. And it's like, I'm going to be okay, and then there it goes.
Yeah.
He just nimpos. They do that in Sigma so much more. Like we were talking about that a little bit before we started recording, but like the AI in Sigma, like if they do anything where, like, if you did something where you'd be vulnerable, like if you just whiff a UT or something, like right in an enemy's face, they just nimpo immediately, like, but they only do it if you try to attack them. So like if you just leave them alone, they'll just stand there. But if you try and hit them, they just nimpo every time.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that too, and it makes these fights a lot more frustrating.
Yeah,
especially when you think I've got it made. I've got him in a corner, and he's getting juggled, and the damage. And one reason I put these clips in order, or in game order. So this just goes to show how well-rounded in terms of a Ninja Gaiden player, because you had a lot of clips that we could have chose from, and some of these are real funny, and some of them are like kind of surprising, and then some are like, oh yeah, I've been there before. And I'm sure this might be one of them too for everybody. What made you decide to start capturing clips and stuff to do that?
Well, it's so easy on the Xbox because you can just hit a button and it records the past 30 seconds. And like with the backwards compatibility, it just kind of encouraged me to just record some clips because it was impossible in the previous generation. Gotta love that rocket spam.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, at least that was only at 59 kills. It could have been way worse.
Yeah, I believe I have a clip somewhere, like being at 99, and then I forget that boss with the whip, but the camera just like completely whips on me. Yeah.
Well, when you started going towards that, when I watched it for the first time, I could already see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that happened to me whenever I played Sigma back in the day, you know, going through some of these missions and everything. And this game seems to know when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And I think that's been consistent throughout all the NG games.
Yeah.
For the most part. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you're close to a ledge where you can get blown off. Well, guess what? We've got rockets and you got no chance. So that was this next video right here. I don't remember doing this back in the day, but I this is kind of funny right here too. What made you decide, if you were playing this in real, or for like going for points or whatever, would you focus on Gamoth first? JTB, did you remember playing this?
Very vaguely, yeah. I think I only went through Rachel's survivals, like, to basically the 100 cycle. Didn't really do much else than that. But I think in this, I think, if I remember rightly, Gamov will kind of basically just chase you. So you want to try and keep him near Dynamo anyway, because otherwise he'll just shoot at you. But getting Dynamo's, like, ground pound to kill him, like, that's a pretty legit strategy, because otherwise he can be really annoying, just kind of constantly, like, pelting you with bullets off screen.
Yeah, and he counters you quite a bit, and his grabs can do a lot of damage.
I didn't notice if that counted, if it went from 47 kills to 48.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Well, I wonder if that makes you short, or how do they make that up? Does he respawn?
So every 100 waves, it's basically... Well, every 100 enemies, it just kind of refreshes.
Right,
right. I don't know if there's a difficulty bump or anything, but yeah, you just kill one enemy and replace a Gamoth.
But that is funny that can do that much damage to him, and they didn't program him to stay away from it. You know, so this right here is the Invincibility Glitch. Yeah.
So... This helped me a bit in Master Ninja on top of JTB's videos, but yeah, I just wanted to highlight just how it does not drop a single frame on the newer consoles, and for this glitch you have to like select a weapon and then hit A and B at the same time, and you can only do the guillotine throw because you don't have a weapon. So it only really works in like human arenas.
Yeah.
I'm guilty using that a little bit in mission mode, just for like Azuna ninjas or Incendiary Shuriken ninjas with like bosses, and like I still have not got the IS ninjas in OG NG2 down completely, because it's amazing how many projectiles they will just lunge at you, and if you're near a wall or floor, they'll just combo you into oblivion. But
well, I think if, you know, those glitches are in there, as much as I don't like them, you know, I'll be the first one to say, you know, the Nimpo dupe glitch, I don't care for that, but, you know, the guys are like, Al, you know, hey, they're doing what the game lets you do with button combinations or whatever. So I guess if you could do this and it helps you get through, you know, you're not hacking a save or doing something like that, you know, you're having a little bit of fun doing that. So at the end of the day, it's if it helps, I guess it's not too bad. Now, go ahead and explain the frustration of this one right here.
Yeah, so this is an example of how frustrating Master Ninja can be on the original Ninja Gaiden 2. You guys might hate me for this, but I kind of feel like NG2 and NG3 like kind of fall apart on the higher difficulties, and I feel like Black and Sigma had like a very good balance on the higher ones, but I feel like NG2 could have used just a bit more refining, because there are some moments I'm just like, what were they thinking?
Especially well, I agree with you on that. You know, I agree with it at all. I thought NG2 was tough, or excuse me, I thought NGB was hard, but it seemed fair. I thought NG2 seemed cheap. JTB, any thoughts on that?
It can do, but you just have to kind of know how to control the chaos. Like that right there, for example, the reason you got shot is because you need to turn the camera away from the archers. And like the fact they juggle you in the air, that's definitely cheap. Yeah. But it's just kind of par for the course, you know? I feel like I definitely agree that NG2 is a little bit more kind of skewed, but if you really understand like all of Ryu's abilities, like you can be so much more broken than anything like the enemies can throw at you in that game. It's just it just takes a little bit longer to kind of get to that point. And NGB I think is like chess, and like Ninja Gaiden 2 is like chess, but you know they're throwing tomatoes at you at the same time. It's a bit more, it's just a bit less civilized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this one right here is... Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that...
Is this just regular Master Ninja?
Yep.
Okay.
This is an example of how Master Ninja can be bullshit in Sigma 2.
Oh.
Yeah, and just like that. So there is no checkpoint before that, so you literally have to go back to the start of the level, which is like a 5 to 7 minute like endeavor.
Wow.
And you're fighting like mages and those white ninjas, and like any grab will just end you. Like, besides me getting lucky with that mage, but like, that is like probably one of the hardest parts in Master Ninja. Momiji and Ayane in Sigma 2 are like, do not control as well as they do in Razor's Edge. Like, they barely do any damage. You pretty much have to UT it, and Ayane's Flying Swallow is her only saving grace because it has a high decapitation rate. Otherwise, it would be damn near impossible to do her chapters.
I do remember that from my bit of time with Sigma 2, thinking that Ayane felt a bit kind of underpowered. That grab also looked lightning fast.
Yeah, yeah.
The boss did, yeah. Like that came out of nowhere.
So this clip right here is, I guess, the game not doing what it's supposed to do on the death animation. I wonder if it's because and people will see what I'm talking about here. You go to like fill in. Yeah, you're doing this right here.
Yeah,
the timer's gone.
It will not let me do an OT.
There you go.
So yeah, you can also see that the costume is glitched as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Razor's Edge like introduces like AI companions for some of the fights. I think they take them out for the chapter challenge mode, but it definitely makes the higher difficulties a bit more manageable. But there's some weird little quirks.
Are they vulnerable? The AI one, like they can die, right?
No, they can't.
Oh, they can't. Okay.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So you could literally just walk away and just let the AI just take care of it, but that would take a god awful amount of time. Because I think they keep trying to grab like the bigger enemies and you can't grab them.
Yeah.
So it just like does like chip damage.
Now it but you were able to move on from this after he died. There was nothing that it didn't affect any part of the rest of the gameplay.
No.
It was just that one little part right there.
Yeah.
So when do you decide to say, "Oh, that's interesting. Let me clip it"? Like right here. Like this is know the spawns, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen people jump away and start to charge or something, and this is going to show you why right here. Man.
Yeah,
And again, like how fast that is, you know, like you're not really going to react to that.
Yeah, and
do
it's
something.
really frustrating in the Master Collection because they took out the online play, which I still am not a fan of at all. You have to do all of the trials solo, and because of that, you can't get revived. So once your health is out, you are just done. They barely refine the challenges. Like, you're still fighting the same amount of bosses. They have less health, but they can still just like do something like that to you, and then you have to, because it's a UN trial, you do not have any retries, so you literally have to go back to the beginning of it, and it is absolutely relentless.
Well, I never really cared for having, to play with other players to get through the missions. I thought that they should have made it, single person, but I think I was kind of on an island there compared to a lot of other people because they said they had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good way to play with the community, and it is like a different way to play Ninja Gaiden, and it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed my time with it. It's just those more difficult missions. The alchemists in Razor's Edge right here, they are definitely the worst enemy, and like being on the highest difficulty, I just wanted to play it safe because like any of their moves would just kill me at this point. So I'm just charging UTs safely,
Waiting
or
for
at
him
least
to
I
come.
think safely. Yeah.
And then you got to start over again, or
Yep, that one still hurts. Ultimate Ninja on Razor's Edge is so difficult. Like, Master Ninja was in the original release, and then they added Ultimate Ninja just to like really kick up the bullshit. There's, I believe in the next clip you'll see another fine example of that. It's probably the hardest Ninja Gaiden game, I would say.
Really?
And I definitely think you guys should check it out, but it takes some getting used to.
Because I know I made an Ultimate Ninja walkthrough, and I just kind of went through and spammed the 360Y with the sights, just so, hey, this is all you got to do to get through it. But you're saying this is it's a little bit more than that now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get to that point soon, and I think, oh yeah, this right here.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone's favorite boss.
You know, this goes by so fast, and your health is so low when you get to this point. Is there a way to slow down? You can slow down the speed or something like that? Or slow down time is what it is. And make it where you can focus in more?
Yeah, but with those rockets, like, you have to, like, be on the move, but God, I absolutely hated that.
How long did it take you to get through? You're still doing it?
No, I finished Ultimate Ninja on the 360 and Xbox Series X, but that was definitely one of the more difficult portions of the game. That fight probably took me like an hour or two.
Right.
Was there also minions there too?
Yeah.
I thought I saw some minions there too. That's something that I think, even in NG2, I think that kind of breaks down. Like, I really don't think the bosses with minions kind of work in NGB and Sigma, because you only have to deal with kind of one of them attacking you at once.
Yeah,
so you can single them out. Whereas in NG2, like, they are all just on you all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, this doesn't... much more frustrating because your arrows, like, auto-lock to the enemies or the boss, so it's like trying to differentiate, like, where you want to attack. It's very difficult.
So explain this one. This is kind of typical Team Ninja right here. This is funny. At least their boobs aren't jiggling back and forth like they would on Sigma, though. But still, they're just like piling on top of her. It's like, give me a break.
Some Monday Night Football action here. Yeah, that's.
Can you like mash to get out of that quicker, or does it depend on how many like actually grab her?
Yeah, I turned off the quick time event like prompts, so you just like wiggle the left stick and hit X to like get out of that. But I was just like, let's just see where this goes. Like, this is just so stupid, and it just I don't know. It's
funny how they allow that to happen. I wonder when they were designing this, it was like, okay, let's see how many we can get it to pile on, or is that just
I wonder
if there's a limit or
is there a limit? I've heard a few people that say Kazumi's like the best character in Razor's Edge in terms of utility. So it'd be interesting to see. Like, there's not a lot of footage out there, so it's the one issue, I guess, with the NG games is that the further you go, like, into the history, there's like, I think, like, less and less people make videos. Like, the further you go into the games, like Black and Sigma are fairly popular. Ninja Gaiden 2 not so much. Sigma 2, like, even less, and then you've got Razor's Edge, which is even less. It's kind of a shame.
Oh, you skipped Vanilla Ninja Gaiden 3. And
we just pretend that doesn't exist. And there's Yaiba too,
there's always Yaiba.
Yeah, I didn't play any of those. I think Jolly was doing Yaiba one day, I think, or he was doing something, one of the old games, and I don't think he thought it was as bad as maybe people were saying. Now, what's going to happen here is, real quick, for our guys, don't worry about the screen. I'll pull it up whenever we're ready to go, but we can keep talking until we're ready to move on to the next thing. So go ahead with the rest of your history with the game. So you just kind of progressed. Now that we're done with like the clips and some of the bloopers, now we get into more of the talk side of it, but we're going to finish up with the Ninja Gaiden side. So did you get a chance to play the Hurricane packs?
Yeah, briefly. I don't think I played Hurricane Pack 1 because I think that was just like a high score run of the original game. But I definitely enjoyed my time with Hurricane Pack 2 and 3.
Well, that was the Master Ninja tournament. The Master Ninja tournament was it was the Master Ninja tournament 1, 2, and 3.
That's right.
And then the Hurricane Pack 1 was Master Ninja Tournament number 2, and Hurricane
That's
Pack
right.
2 was
Yeah.
Master Ninja Tournament number 3. So just to let people know that who may not have heard that before.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm a little bit upset about that because that I still had that on my original Xbox, but for some reason my sister just threw that in the dumpster for whatever reason,
What?
just because it was taking up too much space.
Oh man. There would have been a fight breaking out in my house if that had happened.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the original Xbox is pretty big, you know.
Yeah,
it is,
yeah.
but she kept all the accessories just throughout the console.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, like all those.
Yeah. Yep.
Man. So somewhere, like in theory, there might be like someone might have like rescued that, and someone is like sitting on gold dust and they have no idea.
Yeah.
You know?
That would be awesome.
Someone is sitting on an Xbox that has HP 1 and 2 on it, and they don't know.
And the saves. Now, I forget if I asked this at the beginning. I know I did before we started, but when we had talked to set all this stuff up on Discord, you had said that you hadn't heard of my channel, but somehow you got directed to it. So how did you find my channel if you didn't know about it? And then what made you decide to watch, the NG Talk with Farnham? Are you a member of his channel?
No, actually. So I got introduced to you guys by JTB and like trying to go through Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja before the Master Collection came out.
Oh, okay.
And was able to 1250 that. Thank you again.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And so before the Master Collection came out, I was kind of frequenting the Reddit, and I like have been checking it from time to time, and someone showed Farnham's NG talk, and I watched the whole thing.
Oh,
I
that's
thought
pretty
it was
cool.
Excellent. And I was like, sure, I'll comment and see if they actually add me to the show, and here I am.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's see, the whole Reddit thing, like I said, with me being much older, I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it is. But how it made its way to that, I think is pretty cool.
I'm not on Reddit either, to be honest. Yeah, so I don't really. I sort of know of Reddit, but I don't really. I never use it, and I'm not really sure sort of how it works. Is it a forum or?
Yeah, it's kind of like a forum
Yeah.
of sorts, and I feel like because NG is less popular, there's less like trolls and like shit posts, and it's like actually like. There's actually some like knowledge and depth in most of the posts, and like it's just a good way to interact with fans, and that's how I found out about the mods that I implemented in Sigma 2 as well. Yeah, just a very good community there. You still have a couple bad apples, but that can be said about any community.
Yeah, that's
really,
wherever you
especially
go.
online. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you happened to see it on Reddit and know who we were and joined. It was, again, it's something a little different from us. No offense, but we've never heard of you either.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
So with with this, it's so far it's turned out really great. And now we've discussed some of the NG talk, but or the NG part of it. Now the talk side of it is you were telling me you're a certified yoga instructor.
I am, yes. I was certified in the midst of COVID, and that was like back in January 2019. I like signed up, and it ended in May of that year, and so it was like half in person, half over Zoom, just like video chatting. Yoga is such a wonderful exercise, and it definitely helps when you're dealing with a bunch of stressful Ninja Gaiden and you just need to really ground yourself.
Man, I should be a
because
master
you don't want
at
to throw
yoga
your
now.
controller in a wall. It can definitely help. Just like it's a good way to also kind of check in with yourself, and like while you're doing various poses, you can kind of see like where your body's at or where it isn't. This right here is one of the easier beginner poses and a good way to start or end a class. This one's called Child's Pose, and it's basically just spreading your legs apart, having your knees outside of your chest and your toes touching in the back, arms just stretched out in front, forehead on the floor, and you're just kind of dialing into your breath and just trying to kind of...
Are you trying to keep your abdomen tight? Is that what that does? Or are you just... What's the point of putting the toes together at the end and the knees out over the body? I mean, is that just for certain stretching, or does it have certain health benefits other than just stretching? I mean, how does that?
I wish I could tell you.
Oh.
But I guess it's just that pose is structured in a way that it feels more natural. I mean, it's easier to kind of stretch out if your legs aren't right under your torso.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels more comfortable. You can actually hold it longer than if you were to do it the other way, and it's just a good way to kind of shut everything out around you and tune into how you're feeling about Ninja Gaiden and the world and yourself.
Fantastic if it's about NG.
Yeah.
So, how long would you hold poses for, or does that depend on the pose? I'm guessing, because I imagine some, we've got one I think coming up at the end that looks pretty difficult to do.
Yeah,
anyway.
the one that I cannot do. So it really depends on the class, the teacher. There's different types of yoga. This is one of the more difficult.
Or intermediate
poses.
Is how you have it listed or titled as.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the best yoga teacher. I was still kind of adjusting to the switch to stay at home and all this pandemic stuff, and kind of getting a little carried away with games, so I didn't focus as much on the teaching aspect as I could have. But this is one of the poses I was only able to do about a year ago, and be able to hold it, because it does require quite a bit of balance, some flexibility, and just it helps a lot too if you just fixate on a certain point to kind of hold your balance. I guess this might be a little above intermediate, but...
So is that where you're looking, do you mean? If you pick a spot on the wall sort of thing?
Yep.
Yeah. I think that one in particular is one when you look at it and you think, oh, that's no problem, but then you try it and you probably just, you'll pull something, okay, no, I can't do that.
Well, first of all, I don't stretch that way at all, so I mean, no.
Yeah.
But to just be able to stand on one foot, just stand on one foot and raise one knee up with your arms down by your side and see how long you can hold it. It's not as easy as people think. You'll be using muscles that you didn't know that you had, because your body is balancing out on your two legs. But now when you're on one and trying to hold still, it's a little bit different. Or at least it was for me, but of course I'm not in the best shape compared to some of you guys right there. Is this something that you've always done, or just before you got into the instructor part of it?
So I believe I started, I want to say winter of 2017. So I wasn't doing yoga very much before I became an instructor. The teacher I would usually see just kind of suggested it. And I was like, sure, why the hell not? And in later photos, I can kind of go into the inspiration of that. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I did it. It was very difficult because there's a lot you have to be mindful of while you're teaching a class. It's not just as simple as reciting poses, and you have to try and cater to all skill levels and kind of read the room a bit, which is very difficult over a stream.
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. No, that's got to be. So it's is everyone on camera, or do some people not bother being on camera?
So some people turn off their feed. For for the teacher training, we all had our feeds on, and like we gave kind of advice as to like if we were following or what we could do differently. But it's a lot more difficult over video feed because only one person can really talk at a time, and like it kind of cancels out if there's more than one person talking, and you also have to like mute everyone else in the class because the video feed will like focus in on whoever is talking. So just there's a lot of weird quirks like teaching over like a video feed. But
how long does like a typical like session take? Or does that depend on sort of the skill level you're going with, or like, you know, how capable people are? Well,
yeah, and it also depends on if it's like a slower class or if it's like a class where you like want to burn calories, or like it can range anywhere from half an hour to an hour and a half.
Wow. And then this is an advanced pose.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I can do that right now. That is.
Well, we're in the same club with you. There's no.
Yeah, there's no.
I don't know about JTB, but I know I could do that.
There's no way I'd be able to. I'm not that flexible. No way.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit harder for males too, but I've seen males do it, but it's maybe one day, but that is not happening anytime soon. It's funny, like, looking at these photos and talking about Ninja Gaiden, I can't help but wonder if, like, Ryu Hayabusa would do any of these poses or anything.
Oh,
but
that is an interesting thought.
Yeah, but looking at that pose in particular, if you guys happen to remember
I can't see him doing that one.
Like, I don't know, man, the counter-attack with the nunchucks and the flails, that Ring of Heaven kick he does, I don't know.
Yeah.
I reckon he could probably do that.
It wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
Yep.
No pun intended.
Oh God!
I'm sorry.
That's how you know you played it NG too much. You know. Anyone else that made that connection? Let me know in the comments. I want to see it. I want to see people like, yo, the Ring of Heaven kick.
Yeah.
Totally that pose.
That's what you should come up with. Some poses based on Ryu Hayabusa's movement or some of the things that he does. Like especially when he's like charges the UT. With some of the weapons, how he, his legs are out to the side and he's squatting down and his arms are in a certain direction. This is called the Ripping Thunder pose or the Gleaming Blade pose or something like that. Make up your own.
Yeah, be sure not to Zuna drop yourself.
Yeah. That would end badly.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's what's going to happen, JTB. You're going to learn a little bit about this yoga stuff, and at the end of all your streams, you're going to have a little 15-minute class with everybody to de-stress from.
Just do a yoga session after a stream? Yeah, man. Yeah. Why not?
I think that would be kind of cool.
I need a bigger room. I need a bigger stream room. This room's way too small. Yeah.
So it's really cool that you sit there and do the yoga and that you got into that. I think it'd be interesting to see if anybody else who listens, if they've done the yoga, and in the comments let us know if y'all have done yoga and what your thoughts of all of that is. And now going into more the personal side of the other one was kind of the work side of the talk, and this is more the personal side of the talk. So what's going on in this picture right here? Is this one of the inspirations that you were talking about?
Yeah, so this was from the summer of 2019, which is probably one of the most, I don't know if I would say pivotal moments of my life, but like this summer camp was absolutely intense. You may not gather that from this photo.
Well, by your face, yeah, you look pretty intense there.
Yeah. I don't know. I love just kind of photo bombing. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Always got to have that eyebrow.
Yeah.
But so this summer camp was for people with disabilities and behavioral issues. This was one of the more easygoing and enjoyable campers in the middle here. On the left there was my co-counselor for that week. So this ran from the beginning of June until mid-August, and we would have to work from Sunday at 11 a.m. until Friday at 5 p.m. Literally no breaks from the campers, and we had to take care of everything for them.
Wow.
Personal care, like feeding, medications.
Awesome. What made you decide to get into or to do something like that? Have you done any of that, or somebody you've known?
No. One of my coworkers from one of my restaurant jobs recommended it to me and said that it's quite the experience, and it definitely was. Before this, I was only doing restaurant work. Never had any experience in the field whatsoever. We had a 9-day training course to like prepare us for this summer, and like none of us were prepared.
Yeah,
even after 9 days.
Yeah.
Like
the way you said that made it sound like you weren't prepared. But how could you be, in a way, if you've never dealt with that before?
Yeah. Like it was a lot of like de-escalation, redirection, and like a lot of these campers are nonverbal, so also being like trying to adjust to that, also like keeping on a happy face, so like you can kind of like deter some of those negative outbursts, because some of the campers only know how to like communicate through like physical like interactions, be it like moving or like sometimes hitting or biting, and you kind of have to like be okay in that situation when there's just like all sorts of stuff going on around you. And our superiors were also very new to the situation, so they weren't well prepared, and we were also understaffed. So ideally it would be like a good portion of these campers would be like 1-to-1, but because we were understaffed, we would be 2 to 4.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes we would have 2 1-to-1 campers, and like have to kind of balance the group, and like there's no way I can fit in like how difficult this experience was like in a talk. I'm glad I did it, and like I have some wonderful memories from it, some terrible memories, but it definitely made me realize how easy day-to-day life is and how much we take for granted on a day-to-day basis, like even the ability to talk or walk or just play Ninja Gaiden and get through that bullshit. Like it's
wow,
it put a lot in perspective, and like that prior to this experience I would have not considered being a yoga teacher. Like that was way out of my comfort zone. Like I am very introverted. I don't really like there are times I'm extroverted, but like I could never imagine myself like kind of instructing a class or like being in front of people talking and like just holding my composure and like getting through it. So it just goes to show how transformational like putting yourself in uncomfortable situations can be.
Right. Well, even you doing something like this, you know, maybe a few years ago, if we were doing this, you might not have wanted to do this. I mean, but
yeah,
all much respect and admiration to you for doing something like that. I mean, it's have you gone back and done any more, or have you volunteered or done some other things along this field? If that's the correct word for it, or
yeah, it's a unique field. Unfortunately, the pay isn't very motivating, but I almost want to have you guys guess how much I was paid.
No.
Yeah, I would have. It's funny though. I would have assumed it would have been actually quite good, but to hear you say that, I'm guessing not. I have no idea because I wouldn't really know sort of where to ballpark the guess anyway. So,
well, the reason I say no is just because it's more of a volunteer, like you said, and you're doing this more out of the kindness of your heart or spirit or whatever words fit in that situation. Because I think if people come in to just do it for the money, I don't know if they would be capable of giving, the people involved the care and tenderness that they would need to go, because they're obviously, you said that this is some kind of camp.
Yeah.
So I think it would be more on a volunteer basis. But again, kudos to you for doing that, and like you said, it's changed your life. I mean, just hearing your perspective of how, mundane things that we take for granted, you have much more of a respect for. And I do too now, knowing, you sharing your story is something that I haven't really heard of, or people doing something like this. And
and then
it's really nice.
One more thing I want to touch on before we move to the next one. So the woman on the left is from the United Kingdom, and I've met people all around the globe because of this, and I feel like it's an excellent opportunity for people outside of the US to have room and board and be supplied with food and a safe place. There were people from Poland, New Zealand, Turkey, the United Kingdom, and a few people from the States. It was, you're not doing this job for the money. That's it also emphasized just the importance of really experiencing something, and just having money be secondary or tritary to that.
Now, where are you in this picture? Where is this taken?
So this is in the Wisconsin Dells.
Oh, okay. So this was in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you think about doing something like this again, to travel overseas to do it, or?
That was the plan before COVID hit. I was thinking about doing a summer camp in Colorado, just because I've lived in Wisconsin pretty much my entire life, and I just kind of wanted to change a pace and to see the world a bit, which you'll kind of get a gist of in the next couple photos. But.
Well, look, congratulations again on this, or I don't even know if congratulations is the right word in that, but you know what I'm saying. It's very cool, and thank you for sharing something this personal. It's really very interesting. And,
I just want to echo that. I think a lot of people like to do something like that. It's very much out of most people's comfort zone, and it takes a lot to do that. So it's good that you're able to do that on here.
Wow.
Yeah, especially for 10 weeks straight.
Wow, man. I was going to tell everybody before we move on to the next slide, when we were setting all this up, we weren't sure how we wanted to format the NG talk, and it was, at first we were going to have a couple minutes for each picture, and I'm glad we decided to let each picture go through and then, give the proper time. I mean, this is only the first picture, but yeah, we definitely couldn't have understood, or you conveyed your message if this was only a minute or 2 minutes long. So I'm glad, we decided to do that. So, okay, well, let's move on to the next picture. And what is this? Other than Jim Carrey and Bruce Willis.
So this was in San Diego. On the left there is one of my coworkers from the summer camp. This was about 3 months after that ended, or I guess a month. It was a month after the summer camp ended, and her and a few other people at the camp, because they were from out of the country, they had work visas that they used to kind of explore the US and travel around, and I decided why not meet up with this coworker one last time before we part ways across the globe.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking a Greyhound from Madison to San Diego.
That's a bus, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I only know that from movies.
Yeah. That took a little over 80 hours. And that was one way to see the country, but that was miserable.
I was going to say, can we unpack that a little? Because I only know of Greyhounds almost as like a meme, like, because people always mention them and they talk about them like, oh god, you had to get a Greyhound, and it's like, are they really that bad? Like
well, it's a bus. It's a big giant. It's an upgrade definitely from a school bus, but it's definitely not a RV. It's to where it's as comfortable. I've taken a few buses back when I would travel just from where I'm from in Paris, Texas, to visit my family in Houston, and it was, it was only 300 miles, and it was still pretty rough being on that bus. And I couldn't imagine, because that had to be at least 2,000 miles, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
JTB, can you look that up real quick? Madison, Wisconsin to San Diego, California, and see how far that is in miles.
Yeah, so on the subject of the travel time, like, how long are you actually on the? Because you say it's 80 hours. Like, do they like rotate drivers? They must do, right?
Yeah, I had to do a lot of transitions and stations. I think there were 6 stations along the way. And like, I never left like a 200-mile radius of Madison before this, so I was like, fuck it, let's see how difficult can this really be after dealing with that summer and just like learning and experiencing so much. I was like, why not? But I feel like the most difficult part of that was not having Wi-Fi. Like, the Wi-Fi not working made that trip so much more difficult than it needed to be. But
I just laugh because whenever I was on, we didn't have CD players. We had we had Walkmans, cassette tape Walkmans, whenever I would make that trip. So, it's not like you could take, 5,000 songs with you or something on your little iPod or phone or whatever. You had like one cassette or maybe 2 to listen to that whole time, but not having Wi-Fi, it's was it packed? Was the bus packed the whole time, or was it pretty empty? Or because I know it's a dying mode of transportation throughout the United States, unfortunately.
I'm getting 2,035 miles here, by the way. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure it's pretty close. Yeah. I mean, because that's half the across half the country.
It's defaulting to flights, not not
you
coaches.
can put it on the car. Yeah, I think you can put it on the car if you went to Google Maps next to the flight or something like that. But anyway, it's a long way.
Yeah, the Greyhound does not take the most effective route, too, so that... yeah.
So how did you get back? Did you fly back at least?
Yeah, I flew because I was like, there's no fucking way I'm getting back on that Greyhound. So, because I had a fear of flights, so that's why I ended up taking the Greyhound. But I got over my fear of flights real quick.
I imagine. Well, it took you 80 hours to get over your fear of flying, is what you're saying.
And a good portion of my life, but...
Well, that's awesome, man. So do you still stay in contact with her at all?
Yeah.
Okay. And, so let's move on to... Where was she from, by the way?
Poland.
Oh, cool. I'm sure she spoke good English.
Relatively well.
Oh, okay. I would think that would be... is that a requirement, I guess, for them to have a certain level of English-speaking ability to come over here, or do they just want volunteers and somebody to fill a space? I hate to make it sound so harsh like that, but...
Yeah, I feel like I share that same sentiment, because like, I feel like they were barely into requirements, because... Yeah, she was just 18. Like, I'm surprised she stuck with the whole thing. She was put in some very difficult situations, but she kept on a positive attitude the entire time, and like, we definitely helped one another to like motivate to get through this.
Wow.
Because it would be a lot easier for me to leave than for her to leave.
Right.
And I I guess part of me also stuck with it because, like, if I did leave, like, that would just leave everyone else at a disadvantage. And,
Right.
like, the Dells to Madison is not a far drive. Like, that's probably 40 to 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could have left at any point.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations on that. And for all these people who, I wonder if they knew what they were getting into. And just imagine doing that from another country. You know, so with a language barrier, or somewhat of a language barrier. So, well, that's cool that y'all still got to visit and stay in touch, and an exciting memory throughout your life. Now, here's another picture. Where is this?
So, this is in Uselet in Vancouver Island. Probably the most breathtaking, like, area I visited. I took numerous photos here. I just kind of picked one of the more picturesque ones. This is on the southern tip of Vancouver Island.
And that's up in Canada, north of Seattle.
Yeah, just tiptoeing out of the border.
Yeah.
That was my first time out of the country. Flew there to visit another coworker from camp who was from New Zealand, and just kind of exploring the world pre-COVID. And yeah, this was like February of 2019, so this is like right before. So I'm glad I got to experience this before all the travel regulations.
So we, JTB and I know a few things about taking pictures of, you know, areas like this in our travels, and pictures don't describe how awesome it is out there. And I'm sure the air and the smell and just the feeling of either humidity or lack of humidity, or just the whole atmosphere of it, is never really truly conveyed in a picture. But I'm glad you got a chance to experience that. And for the people who don't know, Vancouver is, if you went to the very, very far west, upper north of the United States and crossed the border into Canada, that's pretty much where Vancouver is. So you got a chance to get out of the country a little bit. Now, with you living in Wisconsin, did you get into Canada much?
No, like I said, I barely left the radius of Madison. Like, I grew up in a very sheltered environment, so I was a little fearful of, like, the outside world.
How did your family take you going and doing things like this?
They only really took me, like, probably the furthest, like 100 miles out from Madison. Like,
right.
We never went on any extravagant trips or anything.
Or I guess what I'm saying is how did they take it whenever you said, hey, I'm going to go do this volunteer, or I'm taking a Greyhound bus to San Diego, or going over to Vancouver in Canada? Were they supportive, or were they a little leery of it, or?
They were a little bit leery, but they ended up being supportive after just everything I've been through. Like, I don't know. It felt like my previous concerns were just like a joke. Like,
right.
Not to downplay, like, any issues of that regard, but it's just like, I don't know. It just made me realize, like, some worries are just really all in your head. Like, yeah, things could go wrong, but it's just kind of out of your control, and, like, you just kind of take it as it is and try and make the best out of it. But
did you do any yoga poses while you were out here?
Yeah.
To relax and enjoy the environment? Okay. Just thought I'd ask. So this next picture is, what is this one?
So this was in January of 2019. This is my sister and I going to a orchestra outside of Chicago for, I don't know if either of you are familiar with the Nier series of games.
Yeah, I am.
No.
Yeah. I still have Automata in my backlog.
Oh, it is.
To play that.
That game is absolutely wonderful. I highly recommend it. Definitely better than Razor's Edge. But yeah, the music for those games are absolutely phenomenal. And, like, I think it was someone from the Nier Reddit who was selling their tickets, and I was just like, we were just like, sure, why not? Like, let's just go for it. And it was quite a great time. My one nitpick though is like the music in those games are like the vocals are like half of like the score essentially, and because it was an orchestra performance, there wasn't as much of the vocals as I would have liked, but
right, yeah.
It was still an absolutely amazing show, and the director Yoko Taro and I forget if anyone from Square Enix was there as well, and the lead vocalist, God, what is her name?
Oh, I'm definitely not going to know that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Shelly and I, we did Halo came through, and some of that music, and the Houston Symphony played that. So Shelly and I went to one of those concert series, and I definitely recommend that to people if they've never had a chance to hear a big orchestra, play the music of your favorite games. And it was quite the experience. I'm glad you had a good experience there too.
Yeah, I wish I would have stuck around and mingled with like-minded people before. But yeah,
you'll know for next time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Going on to this one. So this is your controller you said you had made?
Yeah, so Xbox does this Xbox Design Lab, I think it's called, and it's a little more expensive than a standard controller, but you get to customize like the thumbsticks, the D-pad, the buttons, the front and back of the controller, just various colors. You can also put like a laser engraving like under the D-pad and the right analog stick. I think that's like $10 extra. But I just kind of wanted to make a controller after dealing with the hell of Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3 on the hardest difficulty.
Nice. Nothing wrong with a little reward.
Yeah, 2021, like I think that was my first time clearing NG2, Razor's Edge, and then doing it again in the Master Collection. Like, I've played so much Ninja Gaiden this year. Like,
awesome.
Just adding stress on top of a stressful situation.
There's nothing wrong with that.
A hell of a journey.
Yeah. I think rewarding yourself in whatever way it is.
Yeah.
Helps you enjoy the game, especially as crappy as some of the games in the series can be. And you know what? That's our opinion. I do want to state that there could be people out there that truly love NG3 or Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 or
just
whatever.
Definitely not vanilla.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, if that was their first, we talked about this before. JTB and I came from the old school and the original school of that. But when you hear people talking about Ninja Gaiden 2, and I've even seen somebody, and I don't know if they were trolling or not on one of the forums, but they said that they really enjoyed Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 and even Ninja Gaiden 3. So if that's your first delve into that experience and you really enjoyed it, I mean, it's hard
to go uphill from there.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, if you played Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 and really loved it, or NG3, and then go back to Black, maybe you can appreciate Black more or understand that it is a better game. But those good memories you had of Sigma 2 or NG3, that says a lot. And so
Sigma 2 does have the Dragon Muscle suit, which is definitely a plus in my book. But I want your opinions on this. So do you think that controller mirrors more the Dragon Muscle suit or the Red Muffler costume?
Oh, you're talking about... So I take it these are the... See, I have no clue what any of the costumes are.
The muscle one is the one on the left.
Okay.
Yeah. I would actually go with that one, to be honest. I think there'd be I don't know, there's hardly any red on the Hotsuma, the muffler costume, and I think the red trim and the D-pad, like, I think it's more the D-pad, the way like the kind of the indentation bits on the muscle suit are red. I feel like it more mirrors that one. And that costume does not get enough love, by the way.
Yeah.
The one on the left, I think the gray in the controller matches the suit better versus the other one looks more black. And this other one, I mean, maybe it is black, but in the picture it has more of a gray tint to it compared to the other ones. So is that what you said? Hey, I'm done. I'm going to treat myself to this.
Yeah, pretty much. The Series X controllers are absolutely wonderful, and like I definitely wanted another one. So I was like, why not mirror it after one of my favorite costumes to just kind of reward myself for putting up with all that. But
and what else were you going to say? I think I cut you off. I didn't mean to. You were talking about the game, I think, or maybe I lost your train of thought, or you lost your train of thought because I interrupted. And again, that's going to happen in these things. JTB, was there anything else you wanted to add about the controller, or have you thought about doing something like that?
I mean, I'm very much in the market for some Xbox controllers right now because I'm having to actually use my Halo 4 360 ones, which I never wanted to use because they're just far too pretty. But needs must now. And a few people have recommended the Series controller because the original Xbox One pads, man, I do not like those. Just the way they feel and the sticks. I think like the longest I've ever had one last is a couple of months before the stick drift just makes the controller unusable. So I'm usually on the hunt for 360 controllers, but I'll have a look at these ones because a lot of people have recommended the Series X pads, so I can give them a look.
So you usually play on PlayStation, don't you?
Well, now I do. Yeah, now I currently do on the MC because I got it on PS4. But usually it was always Xbox, and even when I was playing on the Xbox One, I had a converter for a 360 controller. So like I never really liked the Xbox One like feel for Ninja Gaiden.
That's interesting because I just can't tell the difference.
I think that might have something to do with my abnormally high playtime on on those controllers, because I think that's part of it. Because funny, this past week I've actually been playing on the PS5 just to kind of actually give that console some use, and the PS5 pad is great for NG. It feels really, really good on that controller. So
yeah, I was finally able to secure one of those, so I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, it feels really good. I think the PS5 controller in general, I like controllers to be like a little bit bigger because I've got quite big hands and it's got a bit of heft to it. I think that's the thing with a lot of controllers these days, especially the PS4 one. They feel so light. They feel like there's nothing to them almost. So it's nice to have that controller with a bit of weight to it.
Well, this last picture that we're going to show really shows how long you've been gaming, and I mean that's pretty impressive. How long have you been a member? What are some of the icons or something that's? I thought I saw something on your page that it didn't say how long you were, or is this what this is right here? What is that right there?
So that's actually a icon from one of my favorite animes that you unlock from the 360 version, which was backwards compatible, but it's a Japanese game, so I just ran through that and unlocked the gamer pick for that. So that's long story with that, but so that's just my 360 Gamertag icon. So with true achievements, it's they adjust the score according to how many people have the achievement. So beating Master Ninja and Ninja Gaiden 2, that's 100 gamer score, but I think it's worth 800 or 900 true achievement score.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of see on the left of my gamer score, you can see that true achievement score. So,
and I think it's also done by the hardness of the game too. They skew it like that. Now, 453,000 gamer score. How long have you been playing, or been a member on Xbox Live in order to get that?
Well, I started with Halo 2, and I got the 360 at launch, and I started getting achievements in Perfect Dark Zero of all games, and I was like, this is a fun system. And you can see that check mark number under the halfway through.
Right here?
Yeah, that.
Uh-huh.
So that's how many games I've completed 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's...
Now, do you do that at this point because you love the games? You just like kind of padding your score some? Because I did that, I think, on a couple games. I think I played King Kong or maybe one other game or something to kind of pad my score, to just do something different. But, like, you know, all I've played over the last few years is, like, Borderlands, a little bit of Halo MC, and then, you know, Ninja Gaiden. So, I mean, I really haven't improved my gamer score at all. And are you always looking to play new games, or?
It's kind of died down over the years. Like, it's just a number that doesn't really mean a whole lot, and it's frustrating to think of how much effort I put into that. But it is something I enjoy doing, and lately it's just been games that I actually enjoy playing. Sometimes I would kind of torture myself and like play through games like Two Worlds and get all the achievements in that just because I was so close. But it has kind of broadened my horizons of like what I've played. Because I don't think I would have played any sports games, and I found myself really liking the Fight Night series, and I probably would have never checked that out otherwise. But I feel like it has kind of taken a little bit of the enjoyment from gaming because I'm always working towards like that next goal, as opposed to like really appreciating like all the effort and enjoyment that people get out of the games. So just kind of trying to steer clear of that, but still trying to get all the achievements in Ninja Gaiden, but probably never going to get that in Vanilla 3 or Yaiba. But
yeah, I'm not gonna do it in Vanilla 3. I just didn't like that you had to play with other people. That really turned me off. Same thing with Sigma 2. You know, I enjoyed the Black and the Sigma mission mode, and you know, you being the only one, and to have to do it. And I know some people say, well, you can still play all the missions on your own, but I think some of those in
they're impossible.
Yeah. And then watching people just spam the 360Y over and over and over again in order to get through it. I mean, I know in Ninja Gaiden Black, in order to increase your score, you have to spam UTs. But, you know, that's more of a... you have to know what you're doing and not using health and not using Nimpo versus just kind of standing there and just doing the rotate Y.
There's a little more to it than that. I wish it was that easy, but it's frustrating with the Master Collection version of Ninja Gaiden 3 because the co-op play is removed. So you have to resort to those cheaper tactics because you can't get revived, because there's still the same amount of enemies, but you're just by yourself. Their health is reduced on like the higher difficulties, but it's still like you're still fighting 3 clones 4 times in one of the trials, and like there's no way you could like do that like with combos. Like they could Azuna drop you twice, you're done. Like that's it. And like they're always going for the Azuna. Like that is
we saw that
damage.
We saw that happen to you earlier.
Yeah.
So you say they made them easier. Like, did they tone down like their damage and health like that much, or is it not that noticeable?
You can definitely notice the health. It's only on the Master Ninja and Ultimate Ninja trials. I don't think they changed Mentor or anything easier than that. But I think they slightly reduced their damage. It's hard to say. But it's just so, like another player there was just like someone to distract like 1 to 2 bosses at a time, and like give you revives, and Momiji would like revive more than like other characters, and it's just so stressful and frustrating. It's very luck based because you're just by yourself and you have to like abuse it to like stand a chance. But
it'll be interesting if you ever get to that point in JTB to see what your thoughts are on that.
I won't hold your breath.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I've really talked it up.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, though, that's the thing that makes me so intrigued to actually get to Razor's Edge eventually, because I will play it at some point. But there is definitely like people either like really praise it, or it. I've never really met anyone that's like middling on Razor's Edge. No one's like, oh, it's okay. No, it's either, oh no, it's fantastic, or it's terrible. And I think there's no middle ground here. So, like, you know, like that makes it sort of appealing to me in a way. Because I think usually there's a little bit of like a middle, like meat in the middle. But with Razor's Edge, it's like, nope, it's either the greatest thing ever or it's complete garbage. So
it'll be interesting to finally hear your take on that whenever you get to it, and especially with your extensive Ninja Gaiden NGB background, NG2. So I'm sure people will be. We could do an NG talk on your feelings of Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody would love that.
I mean, the thing, to give people an idea though, just kind of like how far away that is, like, you just for a moment, like, people consider how long I've played like NG2 and NGB and Sigma. Like, am I really going to play like Razor's Edge twice and have like as informed of an opinion on that game?
Yeah.
No, you know, like
true,
it's,
yeah.
you know, I'm going to have to play it a lot, you know, to really like weigh in on that.
So a couple two more questions here before we end this. How did you come up with MondoBondo as the gamer tag?
So that was actually my father's idea. Because originally the gamer tag was his, and as time progressed, he just kind of like handed down his legacy, which wasn't that much. But I've always been the gamer of the family, and so he was originally going to do Mondo, but that was taken. So he was like, oh, what rhymes with Bondo? Or Mondo. So he just kind of connected MondoBondo, and it's funny because it means a lot of bondage, and he was a medic in Desert Storm.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not BDSM, but it could be taken that way. But it's either gauze wrap or bondage. It's your call.
Right. I feel better about that now, even though I jumped to the worst thing possible right at the very beginning.
Yeah, people usually do.
And my other question is, out of all the games that you've played, and hopefully this won't be, you know, too vast of a question, pick your 5 top series.
Well.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. So your 5 top series.
Well, definitely Halo, Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden. I want to say Sonic, but he's had a lot of hits and misses. But I actually started with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 when I was 6 years old. So Sonic, I guess, could go on that list. He holds a place near to my heart, even though he releases some terrible games every now and then.
I'm with you on that.
Got one more.
Yeah. I love Sonic, but he's got some duds in his
I never played
in his history.
Yeah.
I know who he is,
everything
though.
in Sonic 06, and that was quite the experience. But God.
You know, I should reword the question. If you're going to be stuck on a Greyhound bus for 80 hours going across country, what are the 5 games? So we've got Halo, Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, Sonic, and one more. Hello. Are you there?
Yeah. This is a tough question.
Well,
I guess I would have to say it's kind of a toss-up between, like, I guess I couldn't really do it on a Greyhound, but I've been really enjoying Splitgate, but that's, like, mainly online.
Oh, okay.
If you guys should definitely check that out. That's basically Halo with portals, and it's free to play, and it is an absolute blast.
Yeah, I noticed that today, funnily enough. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't know it was free, but I thought, oh, okay, that's worth checking out.
It's highly recommend it. I guess I would have to say the Forza Horizon series, just because that is like a good, relaxing game, and I feel like that would balance out the more stressful ones. Yeah, I love Forza Horizon 3 and 4. Like, those are phenomenal games, and like it's good to just unwind and just take in the sights and run people off the road.
I think So if you send me like a little link or something to the game that you recommended just a while ago, I'll add that in the info description on the YouTube, and so other people can check it out. But I'm going back to our main screen here. Any other thing you want to share real quick? Again, these go a lot longer and faster than we thought. What do you think? What do you think about now that you've done one of these talks? What did you think about it? Was it better or worse, or longer or shorter, or too personal, not too personal? To let other people know, for them to join.
Yeah, I mean, the build-up to it was definitely nerve-wracking, but it goes by a lot faster than you think, like people have said, and you've said numerous times. But yeah, you guys are great, you're easy to talk to, and like, I love this series, I have a lot to say. And yeah, I'm so glad you brought me on here, and I encourage other people to do the same if it's not too much of a headache for you.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you need to have be able to record some footage and get it to me, and then set it up, and we got to kind of talk about it and talk about maybe the personal or talk side of it, because we want to stress that a little bit more than just nothing but gaming, and then setting a time up, and so it's not just, oh, let me just send you a video and let's go. It's a little bit more than that, but it's good to know that we're pretty easy to talk to, and it does go by faster, which means that everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this has been going. My recording's almost at an hour and a half here, and it's felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Well, look, MondoBondo, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm glad you took the leap and stepped out of your comfort zone maybe a little bit, and hope you had a good time. And JTB, thank you so much for doing this again. I think people have really enjoyed it. Any final words? JTB, you go first, and then Mondo, you'll take the last one.
No, I just want to thank Mondo for coming on, and thanks for reaching out. It's again, it's something that I think people aren't always like super comfortable doing, but it's nice to hear that me and Al are not that intimidating. But no, it's been a great time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, Mondo, you're up, man. No pressure. Big finale.
Yeah, I'm just so glad to be here. You guys both have absolutely great content, and I recommend like anyone watching this to check out your channels.
Do you have a YouTube channel that you want me to link, or?
I thought I had videos, but I can't find them anywhere. Okay. I don't know what happened to them. But yeah, I guess I'll give links to like.
Give me a couple links, or maybe even to the volunteer place, or whatever on that picture, your camp picture. If people want more information about that, I can link that in the description as well. And again, much props for doing that, and thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
And thank you guys so much for hosting and giving me the time to try and add some new content and show you the impressive modding work and just all my clips throughout the years that hopefully someone enjoyed watching.
Well, it's been fabulous. But look, everyone, I guess the invite's still open if people want to do it. It's a section of Ninja Gaiden, any game in the series. And then we have the talk size, whatever you side of it, whatever you want to talk about. And I think it's definitely been a lot of fun, and it's definitely been eye-opening hearing other stories from other gamers. And again, Mondo, appreciate it. JTB, appreciate it. Okay, everyone, that's going to do it for this version of Ninja Gaiden Talk, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all take care.
Take care, everybody. Peace.
See ya.